Fine. Right. So yeah, last session we finished working with the contracts. Contracts are nothing but interface. We learned about extending contracts, read-only properties in contracts, and optional properties in contracts. Next, after understanding contracts, now in TypeScript object-oriented programming, we will see about class. Class in object-oriented programming. Class in object-oriented programming. So, generally, you learned OOP languages. What is a class according to you? Class is a variables and method. Technically, class is a program template. Technically, class is a program template. In TypeScript or in any object-oriented programming, class is a program template. So, what is the meaning of a template? A template means it contains sample, design, and logic. That sample, design, and logic you can implement and you can customize according to your requirements. So, class is a program template. That means it comprises of data and logic. It contains data and logic which you can implement and customize according to requirements. So technically, class comprises of data and logic which you can implement and customize according to requirements. So, what is a template is nothing but template contains sample data and logic. For example, suppose we have a software like MS Word. In this MS Word software, I want to prepare a resume. Then instead of designing resume manually, you can take a new, in a new, there will be a resume template. You can see template. When I select a resume template and click on create, automatically a sample resume comes here. In this resume, just I need to customize according to my requirements. They given some sample data, they given some sample presentation. We have to change according to our requirements. That is called as what? Template. We call that as the template. And class is a program template. In object-oriented programming, it contains data and logic, which you can implement and you can customize according to your requirements. Actually, you might have learned in Java, .NET or other programming, like class is a model or class as a blueprint. Am I right? Class as a model or blueprint or entity. Technically, I will tell you one simple concept. See, suppose I am having some client requirements. So client requirements are actually called as business requirements. According to client requirements, generally we prepare according to the client requirements, we prepare database. That means we design data according to the client requirements and we keep all the data. Now our developers have to write some logic. This logic have to interact with business requirements as well as database. If the logic is mapping to business requirements, then this is called as, we call it as entity. If any logic written by developer is talking to business requirements, directly the business requirements, then it is called as entity. And if that logic is mapping to data requirements, then it is called model. We call it as model. So in object-oriented programming, class have two behaviors. Class is mapped to business requirements or class is mapped to data requirements. If class is mapped to business requirements, then it is called as an entity. If it is mapping to data requirements, then it is called as a model. Is class a model every time? No. Is class an entity every time? No. But class have both behaviors.
Entity and models.
Class can work as an entity or class can work as a model. So technically, class have the behavior of entity or model. If a class is mapping to business requirements, then it is referred as entity. We call it as entity. And if a class is mapping to data requirements, then it is referred as model. That is the reason many times you will see different people giving different definition about class. Some people tell class is a logical entity. Have you ever saw that definition? Class is logical entity. Have you heard about that definition? Right? So class is a entity, class is a blueprint, class is an model. But is class entity every time? No. Is it model every time? Then what it is every time? Template. So technically class is a template. Template means it contains data and logic which you can implement and you can customize according to requirements. So technically, if anybody says class is entity, that is correct. If anybody says class is model, that is also correct. If anybody say class is a blueprint, that is also correct. Why it is called blueprint? Why it is called blueprint? What does blueprint means? Why it is called blueprint? Actually, one simple point I will show here. Suppose we have suppose a wooden frame, right? In a wooden frame, here we have in the wooden frame, suppose a Ganesh idol is engraved. In a wooden frame, a Ganesh idol is engraved. In that, you put some clay and take it out. When you put some clay and take it out, you will get a copy of this Ganesh idol. Like that, you can create lot of copies of Ganesh idol from this wooden frame. So this wooden frame is a blueprint. Understood? It is blueprint for creating several copies, so that we can use in different copies, different places. So that means, so we can use this at one place with one color, one style. This you can use in another place. The main concept is making it reusable. Reusable, and you can create lot of copies from it. That is why it is called as a blueprint. So technically, you should not call class as blueprint. That is not technical definition. Technically, class is a template. It behaves like a blueprint. It is a general word. So you should not tell class is a blueprint as an answer for any interview. Why? Because it is a general term that is told to you to make you understand that we can make a lot of copies of objects from this class. So technically, what is the correct definition to tell class is a template? Is a template. It have the behavior of model, it will have the behavior of entity, and it is used as a blueprint. It is used as a blueprint. So class is an entity when it is mapping to which requirements? Business requirements. Class is a model when it is mapping to data requirements. And class is used as a blueprint for creating of objects. Blueprint for creating of objects. So class is used as a blueprint for creating of objects. So all the definitions are correct, but the accurate one is template. So generally, when you go to certification level interviews and exams, that means you are learning Java, .NET, some technology. I hope you people know after learning, our institute will give a certificate that you finished your course. But Sun Microsystems give a certificate, Java Certified Developer. Do you know? So, or .NET, Microsoft gives a certificate. So, Microsoft Certified Developer. If you have that certificate, then you are given first priority in every interview. First priority is given in every interview. Because Sun Microsystems certified you, it doesn't mean that you will get a job. but you are given first priority in interviews. Wherever you apply, first priority is given to you because you are a certified developer. And cracking those exams is not easy. Lot of, even you learn the technology, you need to be very careful in answering, because I will tell you, in those certification programs, how they ask questions is, for example, they will give a question. For that, they will give 4 choices. In those 4 choices, they will give like code separation, like code reusability, so polymorphism, and abstraction. And they will say that select correct answer. All are correct only, but you have to select the primary aim. The primary aim of OOP is code reusability. This is where many people are confused. You know the topic, but you should know the exact meaning. That means, now tell me, I think many of you will go wrong. When I say class and I give an model, entity, blueprint, template, you might have answered all of you blueprint only. Am I right? But technically it is template. All are correct answers, right? But we need to know the correct technical answer, because interviewers look for technical answer. And while training, we will tell you some general answers. We have to tell general as well as technical. General because you can easily understand, but that answer you cannot give in interviews. You have to know both general as well as technical. Generally, class is a blueprint, but technically it is a template. That is the meaning. I hope everyone understood. So in any object-oriented programming, class is used as a template. And here, actually, so every class comprises of 2 types of configuration techniques. Every class comprises of 2 types of configuration techniques. One is class declaration. Another one is class expression. We have 2 types of configuration techniques. Class declaration, another one is class expression. So we have 2 important concepts, declaration and expression. Okay. So what is declaration? What is expression? Let's see. Actually, let's open Visual Studio Code here. Here, let's open our project. In this, generally, it is a TypeScript file. Class have declaration and class have expression. 2 techniques are there. Declaration means we write like this: class, employee, and its members. The word class and the name of the class
is
employee and its members. There is another technique. We define like this: constant product is equal to class. This is class expression. We can declare classes in 2 ways. One is declaration, another one expression. expression. Both are valid. Then what is difference between them? What do you say? I think you know in JavaScript also functions can be written in two ways. You can write function also in same. For example, you have a function hello, am I right? Or you can write constant welcome is equal to function. Same like class functions, same. What is difference between declaration and expression? What do you think? Any difference you can spot here? Is product class name? Is product class name? No. That means it is the memory in that class is loaded. What is advantage of this is in that memory you can handle different classes. In that memory you can handle different classes. Currently you are handling one class. Later, according to situation, you can change the class. That means if you want a fixed memory for class, then you use class declaration. You want a memory where class can change, then you have to use a class expression. How a class will change? For example, see here. I am creating here simple. I am saying where enter where some user name. Suppose I said some name. Okay, name is a string type. Here we will enter. Suppose I am keeping the name as TV. That is the string. Or I will give here simply some category name. Category name. Category name I given have here some category name as electronics. Electronics. Now here I will declare a constant. So this is demo. Just see the concept. Demo is equal to, it is what? Class. It is a class memory. Now what happened is we are defining if category name is equal to electronics. If category name is equal to electronics, in the demo is a class, am I right? That means we will make it LET because constant means you can only initialize. LET or you can define as what? Var. We can use var. Okay. Now in this you can see demo and it is configured with equal to what? Class. In this we will define some name and we will define some price like this. This is class means it will have property. So product name is equal to some TV. Some price is equal to some price. Different value we store. Otherwise, else, if it is not electronics, I am writing here another demo. In this demo, we can assign another class. This class can contain, suppose EMP name is equal to John and his salary so is equal to some salary. Like this we can define. What does this means? Demo is a class na? Is it holding same type of members? No. According to the situation, it is changing. For one situation, one set of members. Another situation, another. What is difference between class declaration and class expression? class declaration will contain constant members. Understood? But class expression can change the members. Class members can change according to situation. For one situation, one set of members. Another situation, another. Usually you might have learned class will have some set of members. But here class can have members which can change. Generally, you cannot change the members of class. But with an expression, we can change the members. Complete class members will change. According to situation, different members can be handled. What is the purpose of class declaration and class expression? Class declaration configures standard set of members. Expression allows to change the members. That means demo class have, what are the members of demo class? What are the members of demo class?
2 members.
You cannot say like that. You have to say that it depends on category. It depends on category. If category is changing, the members will be changing. That is the ability of class expression. So class declaration comprises of a constant set of members. Class declaration comprises of a constant set of members. Syntax: class, some product, and you can define members. What are the members we will learn? Class expression comprises of members which can change according to state and situation. Class expression comprises of members which can change according to state and situation. That is class declaration and class expression. Syntactically, demo is equal to class and the members. These members are not standard. You can assign different types of members. So how do we declare a class? How do we configure the class? So 2 ways: class declaration and class expression. Is it clear to everyone?
Yes.
Right. What is declaration? Declaration comprises of standard set of members, and expression
Comprises of members.
Expression can change members according to state and situation. That means it is not standard, it will be changing. Members, I will tell you later. That is what we will see now, right? Initially, how it can change, I just showed you. Later, you will get examples, okay? I will post this into classroom. Later, you will get this, okay? Now, after understanding how to define class, either declaration or expression, depending on situation. Okay. Now, another important, you need to know class members. Class members. That means what we can have in a class. So every class can contain only four members, four types of members. Every class can contain only four types of members. Only four types of members can be there in a class. And what are those four types of members? One is property, method, accessor, or constructor. You cannot have anything else inside class. So inside class as a class member, every class can have only four types of class members.
Properties, method, accessor.
So
Constructor.
remember, these are called class members. So a class can contain only four types of members. Generally, these are called as class members. Understood? Class members. You can have a property, method, accessor, constructors. What are those? I will tell you. What are these members? We will discuss. But first, you need to know these points. If anybody asked you the question like, so can we declare a variable as class member? Can we declare a variable as class member?
Yes, why not?
That means, can you have a variable as class member? The answer is no. You cannot. In TypeScript, in JavaScript class, variable cannot be a class member. We cannot have a variable as class member. For example, see, suppose I am defining class product. In this, I am declaring, so var some uname is equal to some value. It is not allowed. A variable is not allowed as class member. You see, variables are allowed outside class. Outside class you can have. But inside class, you cannot have a variable. And you can see it shows a message that what it is, a constructor or a method or an accessor or a property. Only four are expected. Anything else is not allowed. So a class can have only four members: a property, method, accessor, and a constructor. Now, question here is, so the question is, why variable is not allowed as class member? Why variable is not allowed as class member? These are all Angular TypeScript interview questions. That means when you are attending Angular interviews on TypeScript, such questions are asked. I told you, Angular 40% interview will be on TypeScript. And that is where people fail. Because Angular questions everybody can answer. Because Angular is a framework. Framework is very simple. Because framework is just like kids concept. Everybody can easily understand, easily know every concept and remember. But language is where people fail. Logics, so certain type of error concepts. So that is the reason you are mostly tested on logics and programming rather than testing on framework. Because you will work on framework, but developers' ability we know only through language. not through framework. Right? A developer's caliber and ability we know through language only, not through frameworks. Framework everybody can handle. Right? So why variable is not allowed as a class member? Why it is not allowed as a class member? Actually, why it is not allowed? Because answer is, so variables are immutable. Variables are immutable. Immutable means what? Their structure cannot change. What is a class? Class is a template. Template means what? It can contain members which we have to change. And if it cannot change, how it can be a member? Understood? That means class is a template. It can have only mutable members. It can have only mutable members which can change. Otherwise, template is not valid. Word template is not valid. Template means it should have members which can change according to situation. That means a developer should be able to customize and change. And if it cannot change, that cannot be a member of class. So any immutable member cannot be a member of class. But see here, I will tell you one interesting one. Variables are immutable and class cannot have immutable members. Understood? Cannot have immutable members. But one interesting one, interviewer will ask here, I will show you. So variables are not allowed as class member. Why? Because variables are immutable. Immutable. Observe carefully. In this class, I have a method. In this method, I have a class x equal to 10 variable. It is working. Now, by showing this, they will ask you to justify your answer. You said variables are not allowed, but now they are allowed. Huh? So, because here variable is not a class member. Understood? Variable is the member of a method. That is okay. It cannot be a method of a member. That means if you say variables are not allowed in class, that is wrong. Are variables allowed in class? They are allowed in class. Variables are not allowed as class members. Understood? In class is different. As class member is different. Class member means direct member of class. Variable cannot be a direct member of class. But can we have variable in a class? Yes, we can have variable in a class. So this question is tricky, right? That means, can we have a variable in class? Can we have a variable in class? Answer is yes. As a member of any method. As a member of any method you can have. But variable cannot be a class member. Same thing, same concept. Another question is, can we declare a function in class? Can we declare a function as class member? Same. No. Functions are immutable. Functions are immutable. So functions are immutable. They cannot be class members. Variable cannot be a class member. Function cannot be a class member. These rules you should remember, because later in Angular, when you are designing, every Angular component is a class. And you have to work with the methods. You have to work with the functions, variables. But you should know correct scope. where to write, whether it is valid or not. So we cannot declare functions as class member, but the question, another question. So can we have a function in class? Can we have a function in class? Yes. But it is not as a direct class member, it is as a method. So yes, as a member of any method, as a member of any method, right? So what is property, what is method, constructor, accessor? These four I will tell you detailedly. But before going into that, some more you need to know. First concept, how do we define a class? Class declaration, class expression. Is it clear? Yes. Next, what are the members of class? What are the members of class? Four members are there. What are those? Property, method, accessor, and constructor. These are the four members of the class. Okay. We will go detailing. What is a property, method? I will tell you one by one. First, one more you need to know. Means these are all basics about the class. Then we can start working with class. First, you need to know all the basic structure of class. Then we can work with that. Next, important, another very important, static members in class. Static members in class. Another very important is static member in class. Actually, a class can have static and non-static members. A class can have static and non-static members. That means TypeScript class can have static property and a static method. Can have static property and static method, but not static constructor and static accessor. Whereas other OOP languages will support static constructors, not in TypeScript. JavaScript, TypeScript. JavaScript don't have static. Here you have static and non-static. So static TypeScript class can have static property and static method. What is static and non-static? Let's see detail. Generally, so you might have already learned in your OOP language static members and non-static. Actually, what is a static member according to you? Static means generally you people will say static means it is accessible by class name. But my question is what it is. You are telling how it is accessed. I asked what is static. You are telling how it is used. Understood? Your answer is correct, but your answer is not what is static. Your answer is how static works. Static means cannot change. Then what is constant? Okay, let's see. Let me explain and prove this point. We will explain and prove the point. Actually, what answers you said correct? but that is behavior of static. What answer you said, that is behavior of static. Actually, the word static and non-static, these words related to memory. The term static and non-static, these are related to memory. Let me explain this. Actually, wherever in computer technologies you hear about static, non-static, they are the words related to memory. Actually, we have two types of memory allocated for class. We have static memory and non-static. Non-static, or you call as dynamic. Dynamic. What is difference between static and non-static is, actually, generally, static is called as continuous memory. Continue. Static is continuous memory. Continuous memory. Continuous memory. And non-static is discrete memory. Discrete memory. I will explain. Static is continuous memory and non-static is discrete. Actually, continuous memory means, see, for example, we have a class, so demo. In this class, we have static S0 and non-static 0. N is non-static, S is static. We have two members in the class. Now what happened is, static members are loaded into static memory. Non-static members are loaded into non-static memory. Not static memory. Now, here we have S is equal to 0. Here N is equal to 0. Now in the memory, we are doing an operation S equal to S plus 1. And here also N is equal to N plus 1. Now what happens here is, we created an object obj1. Object is created for this demo class. For the demo class, we created an object. This object will go and use this static memory. And when it uses static memory, S value is set to how much? 0 plus 1. That means it is set to 1. After setting to 1, this memory will not disconnect. It will continue. After object finished, but memory still continues. Memory still continues. Now what happened is, another object is created. For the same class, another object is created. For the same class, second object is created. Now this object will go and continues the previous memory. Object 1 memory is continued by object 2. Then in that case, for object 2, S value will be 1 plus 1, it will be 2. And after object 2 finished, that memory is not disconnected, it is still continuing. Then if another object is created now, and that object is object 3, this object will continue the second memory. That means for third object, it will be 2 plus 1, it will be 3. That means the memory allocated for first object is continuing. This is called continuous memory. We call it as continuous memory. So if anybody asked what is static, the correct technical answer is static is continuous memory. Static is continuous memory. Now let's prove this point. The memory allocated for first object will continue for second. So this is continuous memory. And see now, the same object will go to the non-static memory. When it goes to the non-static memory, here n value will be how much? 0 plus 1. It will be how much? 1. Discrete memory means disconnected. After first object finished using the dynamic memory, the memory will reset. The memory will reset. It will not continue. That means for object 1, it is 1. For object 2, again 0 plus 1. For object 3, again
Recording in progress.
some examples here. So when we need static and non-static, how a developer decides that now for this I have to declare static? How a developer decides that for this I have to declare static, for this I have to declare non-static? This is very important. That means, for example, see now, let's take the point here. We have some database. So we have some database. And on this database, we need to perform some operations like we have insert, we have like update, we have like delete. 3 objects are there. Insert object, delete object, update object. Insert object inserts a record, delete object removes, and update object modifies. Now, before inserting, updating, deleting, so first they have to connect. After connecting only they can insert or update or delete. There is no order. Directly they can delete, directly they can update, like that. Now, I am giving this connection. I am giving this connection as static. I given the connection as static. If I given the connection as static, when I click insert, first it will connect. After that, insert. After insert is finished, is the connection still available? Yes, it is available because it is static. So update will use that connection. Delete will use that connection. Do they need to connect every time? Do they need to create connection every time? No, they have to just use the connection. This is static. This is good, but this is bad also. Why? Because if you are not updating and deleting, the connection is still in memory. It occupies memory. It uses more memory. It is not safe and secure. For example, best real-time example is you are using Gmail. When you are using Gmail, you logged into Gmail with first time it asked user ID, password. If it asked user ID, password, you entered, you logged in. After that, second mail, third mail, every transaction, everything you can view without login, am I right? It is continuing. All operations are done by using only one-time login. One-time login. That means if you close the browser without closing the sign out option, close the browser, you are still logged in. Is it safe? Anybody can open and directly access your account. This is what static. For example, you are doing some Paytm transaction. When you are doing Paytm transaction, what happens? So you transferred some amount to a person. It asked you PIN number. Am I right? You entered the PIN number and transferred amount finish to the same person, again you want to immediately, again you want to transfer. Will it ask PIN again? Yes. It will ask na PIN again. Right? With the same PIN, can you do any number of transactions? Same PIN is there, but every time you have to enter PIN and verify na. That means what happened, the PIN that I already previously entered, it disconnected after the transaction finished. So this is what type of memory? Non-static. Understood? That means that is non-static. Non-static is safe, but it is not good if you want continuous operations. That is the reason we need both static as well as non-static. A developer should decide whether he need continuous operations or he need a discrete operation. If continuous operation, he will declare the member as what type? Static. I will show you here. Don't worry, just see the concept. Later you will able to design, right? Just see the concept. I will show you. I am creating a class, some demo. Here we have a static. So S is 0 and N is equal to 0. So we have a constructor in this. So demo.s is equal to demo.s plus 1. And this dot n, this dot n plus 1. Static and non-static. Then we have a print method. I'm printing the details here. So console.log, the value of s is equal to demo.s. And the value of n is equal to demo. So this dot n, right? Yeah. Now see what I'm doing here is I'm creating obj1 is equal to new demo and obj1 print. We are printing first object. Similarly, I'm creating obj2 for which object, which class? Same class, obj2 dot print. And let obj3 is equal to new demo and obj3 dot print. Okay, let's run this and see how many objects are created. 3 objects are created. Which one is a static member? Yes, S is a static member, na? S is static member and N is non-static member. And you see here now, I am 3 objects are there. TSC index.tx, index.ts, and node index.js, index.js. You can see S value 1, 2, 3 and N value is 1. S is static and it is continuing. The memory allocated, remember all 3 are 3 different objects. 3 different objects, but the memory allocated for first object is continuing to second. Second is continued to third. That is why static means what? Continuous memory. Here S is static and N is non-static. That means in a class you can have both type of members. Sometimes you might have learned like static classes can have only static members or something like that. That's not correct. A class can have both static as well as non-static. So some languages have some restrictions, right? That is their language problems, right? Their language problems. That is not generalized. So generally, if anybody asks why we need static members to handle continuous memory. So to discrete memory, continuous memory. So that is the main difference actually. So what is static? Let's say static. So it refers to continuous memory. It refers to continuous memory. The memory allocated for first object will continue will continue for next. The memory allocated for first object will continue for next. Will continue to next. Right, next. Static is used to manage continuous operations. Static is used to manage continuous operations. Continuous operations. Right. Static members are declared by using static keyword. That means static property is equal to some value. Static method like this. Static property, static method. So static keyword. Static members are declared by using static keyword, and static members are accessed inside or outside class by using class name. Okay. Static members are accessed inside or outside class by using class name. So technically, a developer uses static members to handle continuous memory. Wherever he needs continuous operations to perform without disconnecting, then he will use a static member, right? So static uses more memory. It uses more memory and leads to memory leaks also. Static uses more memory and leads to memory leaks. Memory leaks are very dangerous for an application, and when you are dealing with static, you should be very careful in handling those. Every technology will teach you how to handle the memory leaks in that particular, because when you learn a technology, lot of problems you need to resolve. Problems means not errors. So you need a lot of security for your technology. If you cannot write for that security, then lot of issues will come. Right? For example, means consequences. For example, if I ask you, how many ways I can write a letter in capital in general computer, in how many ways we can enter a capital letter? One is by using caps lock, you can type capital letter. Another one, shift key. But what you people majority don't know, you can enter a capital letter with alt key also. Alt key also. That means you press alt key on numeric keypad. So you need a separate keyboard for that. Press alt key and type a number code in your numeric keypad and release the alt key. You will get a special character. In that, capital letters also will be there. Now what developer have done? He written, if shift key is used, verify. If caps is used, verify. But he haven't written for alt. then hacker will use this to hack your application. So how a hacker hacks our application? That means he finds loopholes in our application. That means developer have written all consequences, but one he is missing, that hacker will identify. That means even NASA websites are hacked. These Chinese people are there now, right? They hack everything, right? That means our home minister Twitter account hacked, you know, right? That means they can hack. Why this hacking is possible? Because there are some leaks in memory. If our developer cannot identify them and control them, then problems will come. Memory leaks are very dangerous, right? So that is very important. So static uses more memory and leads to memory leaks. Now what about non-static? Non-static, or you call as dynamic. Non-static or dynamic is actually, it refers to discrete memory. Discrete memory. It is disconnected memory. Disconnected memory. So connected memory. That means memory allocated for an object will be destroyed after object is object finished using class. The memory allocated for an object will be destroyed after object finished using class. It will be destroyed. So it is discrete. It is safe. It is safe, but is not good for continuous operations. It's not good for continuous operations. It's not good for continuous operations. And very important, non-static members are accessed within the class by using this keyword, and outside class by using instance of class. Instance of class means object. By using object. Static members are accessed inside the class or outside the class by using class name. And non-static are accessed within class by using this, outside class by using instance. By using instance. This is one important thing. Still we haven't entered into class concept. Means we are just discussing the rules of class. That means how class is defined, what members a class can have, and in that members what are static and non-static. I will just give you this example so to make you understand about static and non-static. This example proves that point. Am I right? And this I will upload into class. This you will get from the classroom. But detailedly I will explain. What is property and all I will explain. So 3 points are clear. One is how the class is defined. What are the members of class? Another one, static and non-static members. Another important, we have, while working with classes, we have access modifiers. We have access modifiers. Class have access. These are all not there in JavaScript. JavaScript is having a class, but JavaScript class cannot have static keyword. JavaScript cannot have access modifiers. That is the reason these we need to newly discuss here, additional, right? So JavaScript also have class, and JavaScript class members also same, 4 members. But JavaScript don't have static keyword and it doesn't have access modifier. In TypeScript, only 3 access modifiers are there. So the access modifiers, that is nothing but, so they define the accessibility of any member in a class. Accessibility of any member in a class. TypeScript supports following access modifiers. We have public, we have private, and we have protected. Only these are there. Public, private, and protected, these are access modifiers. We have these 3 access modifiers. So what is the limit and restriction of these 3? What is difference between these 3? Let's see. What is public, what is private, and what is protected? Actually, simple point here, see. Generally, the difference between these is, we have public is nothing but, public means it is accessible from any location. Is accessible from any location and from any object. From any object it is accessible. What does that any object? I will tell you. So private is nothing but, private is accessible. It is accessible only within the class. Within the class it is accessible. Here we have protected. Protected is nothing but, actually protected is accessible in derived class. In derived class, and only by using derived class object. Derived class object. This is restriction. I will show you, then we can see here. See, public is accessible from any location. Private is accessible only within the class. Protected is accessible in derived class and only by using derived class object. Only by using derived class object. Derived class object. I will tell you here. See, for example, I am defining the members here. Class product, and in this product class we have some public name. So it is what type? String type, and we saved some name. String, and we saved some name. Another one, private. So we have private. Price, it is a number type and stored some value. We have protected. Stock, and it is a Boolean type. It is a Boolean type. It have true or false. Now here I am creating another class, some derived. This derived class is extends product. Same like inheritance you have seen in interface. Later I will detailedly go into class extensions and all, properties and all. I am just explaining members first. Later we will discuss what are properties, methods, detail. Here, one important is I am creating an object for derived class. Now tell me through this object which member is accessible. Name, price, stock. Out of these three, which one is accessible? Name is a public member. Is it accessible? Yes. Price? No. It is accessible only in that class. Huh? Protected? No. What is the definition of protected? It is accessible in derived class and only by using derived class object. Am I accessing inside derived class? Then how? It's not accessible. It is accessible only inside derived class using derived class object. For example, you see OBJ, you can see only name. Only name. Only name is available. For example, I am having inside this a print method. This print method is having an object which is related to derived class, which is of derived type. Now through this OBJ, it is of derived type. Through this OBJ, what I can access? I can access name and stock. Understood? Protected members are accessible in derived class using derived class object. Derived class object, or you say reference. That means it is not accessible outside derived class using derived class object. Protected is very protected inside derived class using derived class object. It is accessible in this class, okay. That means in the base class all are accessible, but outside the class, so public and protected. Public is accessible anywhere, but protected is accessible only in derived class, that also by using derived class object. For example, this object belongs to product. Understood? If it belongs to product, which one is accessible? Only name. Only name is accessible. So the object must be what type? It is what type? Derived. Then only it is accessible. Name and stock. That is the difference between these three access modifiers. Right? So public is accessible. Accessible from any location. Private is accessible. It is accessible only within the class, within the specified class. Within the specified class. Another one, protected. Protected is accessible in derived class. In derived class only by using derived class object. Derived class object. One note is all members are accessible within the specified class. Am I right? They are accessible within the specified class. Within the specified class. They are accessible within the specified class. Protected have a different accessibility. These are all class related members. Class related members. How do we define the class and use the class? So how to define class? What are the class members? What are static and non-static? And what are the access modifiers? Is it clear? Yes. Now we will discuss what is property, what is accessor, why and where we need to use them, and method and construct, right? If we know this, then we are good in the class concept, right? Then you will learn polymorphism, inheritance, abstraction, how it works. Okay. Tomorrow we'll continue, right? Yeah.